This Raw probably made a lot of fans angry. Logan challenged Jey Uso for the world title. Pat McAfee's wrestling Gunter. It's the IWC nightmare. I don't really mind any of that. People, I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat. Solid episode of Raw. Rollins and Sami's relationship put to the test. Great Becky and Lyra segment. Wild Pat McAfee promo. And Braun Breaker is the GOAT. We have some wild topics in this episode. Let's talk about Raw. Anyway, I'm gonna do some Raw WWE dick riding. Welcome back to the channel, people. If you already didn't, make sure to subscribe. On this channel, we talk about professional wrestling. We express our opinions with no judgment whatsoever. Join the Forehead Squad, boy. Rollins opens the show with Heyman and Breaker, declaring himself the future of WWE and the winner of WrestleMania's main event. Rollins mocks fans of CM Punk and Roman Reigns and got a mixed reaction from the crowd. Rollins claims the future of WWE doesn't involve Reigns, Punk, Cena, Uso, or Cody. It runs through him. Kinda like the idea, basically he is creating the future of the WWE. That's why he has Braun Breaker, who's clearly the next face of the company, in my opinion at least. I kinda like that, I wasn't expecting this vibe, but it does kind of remind me of Seth Rollins' past factions and also Evolution in a way, because clearly Seth Rollins is the leader. I was wondering about that. Are they going to be partners, or Seth Rollins is going to be, the Messiah? It really reminds me of that faction. You can already tell what eventually is going to happen. Braun Breaker is going to turn on Seth Rollins. I think it's going to look similar to Batista versus Triple H. The only question I have is, are we even getting any new members? Y'all gonna hate this, but if we're comparing this to Evolution, Seth Rollins is Triple H. Paul Heyman is Ric Flair, even though he's not wrestling, I understand. Braun Breaker is Batista. I feel like Austin Theory could be a legit version of Randy Orton in a way. Let me know in the comments below, who would you like to, fill in that spot? And it seems like they're friendly, right? But Zayn criticizes Rollins, accusing him of hypocrisy and jealousy towards Punk and Reigns. It finally hit him. You're just jealous. Zayn compares this faction to the Bloodline. It's the same thing. Rollins warns Zayn that if he doesn't join them, he becomes a target. So this is not a threat, but an offer. Rollins suggests Zayn moving from Raw to SmackDown if you don't buy into his vision, and he gives him until the end of the night to decide. And later on the show, we actually found out, what kind of offer Sami Zayn is going to get. During the backstage segment between Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn, Heyman reflects on Zayn's bloodline past. He respected Zayn's choice to leave the bloodline, so he wants the same from Sami Zayn. But this is not about the bloodline. Here's the offer, people. Accept a trade to SmackDown, avoid the conflict, and you're going to get a major opportunity. A match against the winner of Cena versus Orton. WWE Championship on the line. So Seth Rollins is a master manipulator, people. He knows what Sami Zayn never accomplished in the WWE is that goddamn title, whether the mustard title or the big gold. So everything with this promo, this relay, I really like that, because you can tell that yes, Seth Rollins is a heel, but right now in the WWE, these heel turns are a little bit more realistic in a way. Just because he's a bad guy doesn't mean he changed his opinion on Sami Zayn. But Sami doesn't respect the vision, so he has to do what he has to do. Nothing crazy though with the faction, this was just a follow-up. We still don't know what kind of match we're going to get. I expect a tag team match between Roman Reigns and CM Punk versus Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins at Backlash. It almost seems like too big of a match for that pay-per-view though, so hopefully it's gonna happen, but I'm not sure. We didn't see CM Punk, we didn't see Roman Reigns, so that's kind of unfortunate, but I really like this, relationship being put to the test, and we're gonna talk about the main event at the end of this video. We got Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. Pretty good match right here. Some NXT women getting a lot of spotlight. At this point, I feel like they're probably on the main roster. I should check WWE.com. So pretty interesting match. But we got Julia with the interference. Then we got Io Sky. So it seems like it's going to be a tag team match for now. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's going to turn into a fatal 4-way WWE Women's World Championship match. Pretty decent story with a lot of new women actually almost being in a title picture. Even though Finn Balor got something nice, which is a possible opportunity at a WWE World Tag Team Championship match, he's not happy, he's not being told. It's like the Judgment Day are operating without Finn Balor, and I don't think the match is going to happen at Backlash, but I really can't wait for Dominic versus Finn Balor. For any Finn Balor fan out there, by the way, don't expect a big push. I mean, at this point, you should probably give up. Then we see Logan Paul, and he says he accomplished everything there is to accomplish. So now he wants that WWE World Championship. We got Jey Uso, but Uso says the title must be earned, not handed to a punk-ass YouTuber. What you calling punk-ass, you eating son of a bitch? YouTuber is the most prestigious job in the world. Doctor? YouTuber. I accomplished more in 4 years than you in 15. But Uso hits Paul with a super kick. It seems like we're going to get that match, people. Now I know a lot of people are angry about it. I'm not too excited. But I mean, Jay needs an opponent. In some ways, Jay, Logan, it could be a catastrophe. And maybe for wrong reasons, I'm almost excited about the match. I really don't mind it because in a way, you have one of the most over superstars in the WWE. People love Jey Uso. Yeet, you know, yeet. Everybody yeet. Everybody's yeeting in that audience. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And then you have Logan Paul. Everybody hates the dude. He's getting the most boos in the entire WWE. It's a pretty interesting dynamic. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. First Jey Uso title defense. You know what I also realized during this episode of Raw? I don't mind Jey Uso as a world champion, but it made me realize I wish Sami Zayn got that opportunity. He's also beloved by the audience, an underdog, but also a tremendous wrestler. I feel like even during rivalries like this, Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, I would be more excited because I would know that, okay, at least the match is gonna be great. But you know, all in all, I don't mind it. It's a filler rivalry. Logan is not winning. Backlash is not that far away anyway. We're gonna get this done and over with. I really don't mind it. We got the Judgment Day versus War Raiders. So the Judgment Day tried to help, but they still couldn't get the job done. Viking Raiders versus New Day it is. Which again creates more reasons for Finn Balor to turn on the Judgment Day. I don't think we're even getting new members or a new leader, it's just that we're getting this rivalry. I thought the main point is going to be a new member. Then we got Becky Lynch and she revealed some information. She was the one who attacked Bayley before WrestleMania and she justifies her actions saying Bayley has targeted her since 2019 and never apologized. And then she turned on Valkyria because a friend of my enemy is my enemy. This was a passionate promo, you know, Becky is great on the microphone. Lyra says, I was warned about you, but I didn't listen. She calls her a hypocrite and challenges Lynch to a match at Backlash, offering to put the Intercontinental title on the line. Basically, we are getting that Intercontinental Championship match. We got a big brawl. In the end, Lyra came out on top and she looked like a star, man. She looked legit in this episode, you know, finally taking it seriously. What I mean by that, the character, you know, the character looks a bit more serious. But Becky still came out on top. A veteran, people. Great promo, great segment. I feel like, you know, nowadays in the WWE, heel turns are justified. I don't feel like this one was. You know, nobody really remembers Bayley versus Becky. It happened such a long time ago. And randomly she decided to attack Bayley. I don't know. To me, it feels like the explanation wasn't enough. But I like that Becky mentioned that Bayley is crying on podcasts, you know. I like when they use real life stuff. So hopefully this is going to benefit Bayley. I think she is gonna end up being the Intercontinental Champion in the end, which is great. We got Stephanie versus Ivy. Man, Stephanie is over in the WWE. Pretty obvious match right here. She came out on top. Unlike last week, this was not a bad match, but not necessarily, you know, a dream match. So you know, it seems like AJ versus Dominic might be the next Intercontinental Championship match, which is somewhat exciting, I guess. And Karrion Kross this time around didn't necessarily got that big of a pop. That's kind of unfortunate, but I guess it depends on the crowd. That's the only time we saw Karrion Kross on our screens. Use that opportunity, WWE. Use the opportunity, use the momentum. The guy is hot right now. Use him. See what happens. Again, the point is, Karrion says you should turn heel. Well, he didn't say these exact same words, but that's what he meant. I'm always wondering, I get what he's doing, I get it's working. What is the end goal? What does he have to gain from that? Pat McAfee's promo was a wild, people. He reflected on his roots, values, identity, and talked about his loyalty to Michael Cole. My man was swearing a lot of F-bombs, obviously censored, calls Gunther an Austrian asshole. He had no choice but to defend Michael Cole, even if his own life was at risk. He demands a fight, calling out SmackDown GM Nick Aldis to lift the suspension of Gunther, but Nick Aldis declines. He's not gonna do that, but he does have an offer. Backlash, Pat McAfee versus Gunther. Not gonna do this promo any justice. Pat McAfee is great and he just showed you why he's in the business he's in, and I don't mind this match either, man. I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, hate Pat McAfee right now. I know he's not a traditional commentator, but I do find him entertaining. I know sometimes it gets annoying and sometimes he's talking, bullshit. I think for the most part, he adds to the product. He definitely adds to the product. When you're watching a match, maybe the match is not that exciting, maybe you don't care about it. Sometimes the commentary helps. Say what you will, the man can be funny. I think it's gonna be pretty exciting to see Pat McAfee in the ring. Maybe he was training, we don't know. And obviously Gunther is going to beat the shit out of him. That's the whole point. Gunther makes his return at Backlash, beats the living crap out of Pat McAfee, and he looks even more dangerous than he was before. This is a hungry Gunther. Hungry. Have you ever seen a hungry ring general? People, sometimes I like these kind of side stories. Maybe this is going to lead, and this is such a stupid thing to say. I keep talking about this shit and it never happens, and probably nobody gives a flying poo-poo. Wade Barrett versus Gunther. And obviously Gunther wins. The power of friendship in that commentary, man. The power of friendship. And eventually the... Oh my god. Oh, have you nodded yet? Have you nodded yet? I sure did. Michael Cole, people, versus Gunther. Your voices in the air. Holy fucking shit. Jay was talking to Sami and got attacked by Logan Paul. Yeah, this match is happening. Again, maybe I'm doing a little bit of that WWE dick riding. You can't tell me I don't criticize WWE, man. You can't tell me. My previous video was basically shitting on the WWE. I'm just saying, it's not that big of a deal. There's some excitement, I guess. Most of the superstars are occupied with other storylines, but the match is probably gonna be ass. All I'm saying is, I'm okay with it. Backlash is in 12 days or something? Consider yourself lucky. If this was 2013, you would be seeing him versus Masked Kane past his prime 20 years later. Remember Daniel Bryan's situation? It could be worse. Seth Rollins finally wants the answer. They talked about their friendship. Their kids play together. Zayn says, I know what you're doing. You're very good at this. That's why you're in this position. You're a master manipulator. You know what I never got. You know what I want, which is the WWE title. And as a performer, I'm telling you, go to hell. I'm gonna get that championship with no favors, all by myself. Okay, let's talk about it. Seems like they're planting seeds in the future. Maybe SummerSlam or before SummerSlam, I don't know when. Seth Rollins is definitely becoming the world heavyweight champion. That is our next world champion. Seth becomes the champion, just like Triple H did. Sami versus Rollins. The match is gonna be great, and it's probably gonna be a great story. It's already pretty decent. So this is the rivalry to look forward to because it has everything. And maybe even possibly Sami Zayn becoming the world heavyweight champion. We'll see about that. But I feel like this is what WWE are teasing. Again, going back to Jey Uso, cool moment and all, I get that. Maybe that's why I don't really mind Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, is because my expectations are pretty low with this championship title reign. Second week as a champion and all we're seeing is the eating, But Zayn refuses the offer. So we got Braun Breaker and it was Braun versus Seth frickin' Rollins, which again, keep telling you this every single week, people. Braun Breaker is the GOAT. Literally, dude has it all. What a fun match, and there's something about Sami Zayn in the main event of Raw. Every time I see this guy main eventing Raw, it's a banger. And I like the story they told in the ring. We got that spear, and Seth Rollins basically signaled finish him. So Braun Breaker continues with the attack, multiple spears. Sami Zayn can't stand up, and Seth Rollins wants Braun Breaker to finish him. The match got cancelled by the officials, and Seth Rollins gave him the first lesson. Sami Zayn made his bed. He doesn't respect the vision. So we got a curb stomp to Sami Zayn. And that's how Monday Night Raw ended. Honestly, I did expect CM Punk to show up, but unfortunately that didn't happen, making me believe, are we even getting this match at Backlash? Pretty solid episode of Raw, people. Nothing groundbreaking, but basically building on that almost a reset button we got after WrestleMania. But again, it's pretty confusing. Multiple storylines going on at the same time. Sami was the first target. Can't wait to see what's gonna happen between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Obviously, they'll have to become allies. I hope something is gonna happen on SmackDown, but I don't really expect it, you know. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, the great one. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.